Hi there. You're watching Tito Talks, non-life insurance discussions with me, Miguel. We're very happy to have you here today. We've got a very interesting topic for you guys right now as we will be hitting the nail on the head by talking about our comprehensive motor car insurance policy. For those who are new to this channel, or is this your first video from our channel? Hi, welcome aboard. We're happy to have you here. Tito Talks Non-Life Insurance Discussions is a channel that is all about talking about non-life insurance topics being made easier to understand for both agents and clients. So if you are an agent struggling to explain a couple of things to your customers, you may find the answer or the explanation here. Or if you are a customer trying to navigate and understand your policy on your own, this is certainly the place where you can find your answers. We're happy to have you on board. And as said earlier, we're going to be talking about our comprehensive policies. When we say comprehensive motor car insurance policies, which may be a new term to most beginners when it comes to non-life insurance. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng isang comprehensive policy? If you take a look at the dictionary, the term comprehensive refers to refers to an adjective, or the term comprehensive is an adjective, which means complete, meaning it includes and has everything that is necessary. Completo recados po. And when applied to an insurance policy, that means a comprehensive insurance policy is the best package that an insurance company can provide to its clientele. All the bells and whistles, all the additional benefits, all the goodies, all the additional promotional beneficial materials that the company can throw your way. So if you're looking for the best type of policy, always ask for a comprehensive policy. Now, because there are a lot of insurance companies already out there with their own gimmicks, with their own advantages, with their own selling points, it could be a little bit confusing trying to find the best insurer for your car. However, it's very important to note that despite the multitude of different promos, advantages, and palabok that certain insurance companies may have, the insurance commission actually mandates four basic coverages that each and every company should be able to provide to their clientele. So no matter who you talk to, there is a bare minimum pagdating po sa comprehensive insurance. Every company has to provide at least these specific benefits that we're going to be talking about here today in general detail. So let's get started on our list then, shall we? Now let's enumerate these four benefits first, as mandated by the Insurance Commission. That'll be your CTPL, also known as your compulsory third-party liability. That'll also be your section number two, which is known as your no fault indemnity. Very interesting. Also, you've got your third section, which is now part of the comprehensive section, which is known as the own damage and theft coverage. And then finally, you've got your section number four, which is known as your voluntary third party liability coverage. And if you watched our earlier video on who are third parties, we touched a little bit on third parties as well. You can check out the video link as I'm pointing out to it there. I hope I'm pointing in the right direction. Now, with that being said, let's jump right into number one, into general detail. Ano po ba ang CTPL, also known as your compulsory third-party liability? Now, we have released a video about 10 things you need to know about your CTPL. Links already up there. I'll probably throw another link in the description as well. Now, what does the CTPL do? As it is the most common type of insurance any motorist could have, because this is the bare minimum that the government requires every time you renew your vehicle's registration. Best friend po ng motorista. And the funny thing is, despite the fact that every motorist probably has it, not every motorist is fully aware of what their CTPL is capable of doing. In a nutshell, your CTPL is designated to cover you against liabilities brought about by bodily injuries or death to third parties because of usage of the vehicle. So when you're driving your car, may nabangga po, ginagamit po yung sasakyan, may naatrasan, nabangga, naipit sa isang collision. All of these third parties will fall under the benefit of your CTPL. So that means you will be shouldered, or the company will shoulder your indemnity, or I do apologize, the company will indemnify you for any liabilities that you might incur. These could be hospital fees, or in worst case scenarios, on top of hospital fees, it could be funeral expenses and even death indemnity. Yes po, danyos po sa mga naulilang pamilya ng namatay or napatay na third party. Kindly take note of that. So that's section number one. Section two is really interesting because it's considered as a minuscule portion of section one. In short, ang ibig pong sabihin yan is si section two kasama na po si section one. So you don't have to make a special request to get section two when you get section one. But what is section two? Section 2 is known as your no fault indemnity. And when we say no fault indemnity, as the name implies, it allows or it covers you in terms of liabilities without the need to establish liability. So I was probably wrong for using the term liability. Now, to make things even simpler for you guys, ang no fault indemnity po will actually indemnify you for expenses that you've spent on third parties who are injured during accidents, even if it's not your fault. And there'll be and we tackled that in detail in another one of our videos. Actually, it's our 10 things you didn't know about your CTPL, wherein we tackled that in detail. But in general, the second section, which is already part of your CTPL, allows you to claim up to 15,000 pesos in terms of emergency expenditures like your ambulance fees, your ER fees, because these are the primary expenses that you incur when you rush someone to the hospital at the time of the accident. So may nabangga po tayo, may na-injure po na third party, wala pong dumadating na ambulance, you took it upon yourself to take this third party to the hospital and to pay for their medication or their initial medications, their primary medical care po. Ikaw na gumastos sa ER, ikaw na gumastos sa pag-admit and everything. And then, once the investigation of the accident has been concluded, hindi pala ikaw ang may kasalanan. What? So it ends up with you not being able to reclaim the money that you've already spent taking care of this third party because it actually wasn't your fault at all. Nagmagandang loob ka na nga, ikaw pa yung nawalan. And Section 2 remedies that problem up to 15,000 pesos. So that's Section 2. Now, Section 3, on the other hand, this does not have anything to do with third parties anymore because this is what takes care of the vehicle, also known as your own damage coverage. So, damages incurred by the vehicle during collisions, accidents, and even malicious damages done by third parties. So yes, kahit papaano, may kinalaman pa rin po siya kay third parties, maski Section 3 pa rin po ang pinag-uusapan. So this own damage and theft will pay for repairs, for restorations, and uh, even for replacement parts. Dito po papasok po ang depreciation po ng sasakyan. And another very interesting facet of own damage is that it should also provide theft coverage. So in the event na hindi naman po sinira yung sasakyan pero ninakaw ang sasakyan, the policy should also be able to issue you out a check for the value of that vehicle at the time of the incident. Now, if you could recall earlier, Section 1 and Section 2 are pegged, they have fixed amounts. Section 1 is at 100, Section 2 is pegged at 15,000 pesos. Magkano naman kaya ang coverage ni Section 3? Well, Section 3's coverage is actually dependent on the fair market value of the vehicle at the time of the inception of the insurance. Kung saan po at the point in time ginagawa po ang policy, kinokotan nag-i-issue po tayo ng quotations for the customer. This takes into consideration the age of the vehicle. So naturally, older vehicles with depreciating values would have a smaller market value compared to brand new vehicles right out of the dealership. So that means the older that your car gets, the lower your fair market value becomes. So you are going to experience lower and lower premiums the older your car gets. Not because you're trying to save money, because that's the natural process of things. Kindly take note of that. So that is Section 3, own damage. It will pay for repairs if you send your repairs or if you send your vehicle to the dealership, babalik mo sa casa para doon ipagawa or ibibigay sa isang repair shop that has to be accredited by the insurance company, or there are particular companies that have their own repair center na sila na mismo ang gumagawa, which comes with a lot of additional benefits. I know a certain company that that has their own repair center. Send me a message. Let's talk about it. Actually, there are also some insurance companies na may sariling pakulo that they could actually um, waive deductibles when sending in your vehicles to them for repair. Are you interested in paying zero deductibles and zero what do you call this? Advertising fail. Are you interested in paying zero deductibles and participations when it comes to replacement parts? Let me know. I know a really good insurer that could help you guys out. Now, that takes care of Section 3, which is your own damage and theft. And finally, you've got your Section 4, which is your voluntary or excess third party liabilities. And as the term implies, it is voluntary, it is in excess. Excess of what? It's in excess of your CTPL insurances. Kindly go back to Section 1, also known as CTPL. One very important thing to note about CTPL is that it only responds to bodily injuries done to third parties, bodily injuries and or death to third parties. Nothing about CTPL will take care of you when what happens is property damage to third parties. So if you hurt someone, yeah, CTPL can take care of you. But what if you break someone else's property? Like let's say you get into a collision and you're the liable party and the other party involved sustained heavy damage to their vehicles. You're going to be liable for those damages too, on top of you fixing the damages to your own vehicle. And it doesn't just apply to other vehicles. It could also apply to any other person's property. That could be their dog, that could be their house, that could be their gate, that could be anything that belongs to someone else. Even public property, traffic islands, poste ng Meralco, waiting sheds. Yes, you could be held liable for the damages to these certain types of properties. And CTPL is not going to help you. You're going to need additional coverage for that. And this is where Section 4 comes in, your excess liability insurance. Ano po ba ang ginagawa ng excess liability insurance? Well, it's divided into two specific sections. One section for bodily injury and another section for property damage. So yes, this is the only coverage you can get to take care of property damage. So one part of Section 4 is allotted for your bodily injuries, which will only respond once CTPL, Section 1, has been exhausted. And then your second part of Section 4, which is your property damage coverage, will actually pay for liabilities towards third party property damages. So it will pay the third party for the estimated amount of damages that their properties incurred because of your usage or an authorized driver's usage of your vehicle. So there you have it, four specific sections across all competitors. Everyone should be able to provide these four uh, basic coverages. Now, it is important to note though that sections 1 and 2, CCTPL and No Fault Indemnity, they are part of your basic coverages. Sila po ang nasa CTPL. So whenever you buy CTPL, when you renew your insurance, meron ka ng automatic sections 1 and 2. If you opt to buy a comprehensive insurance policy, then they throw in sections 3 and 4 at the bare minimum. So if you're asking for a comprehensive policy, you'd best expect that you get these four things in totality. Kailangan po nandyan po ang apat na yan. What about the rest? What about the other? What about the other good stuff? What about my towing service? What about my what do you call this? What about my towing service? What about my transportation expenses? I heard some companies give out loaner cars while my vehicle is being repaired. Are these all mandated by the insurance commission? Interestingly, no. Any additional benefit that the insurance company provides on top of these four benefits is actually out of their generosity or out of their desire to add more value to the product that you're claiming. Another important addition to this is AONs. Yes po, si acts of nature or acts of God, so to speak. Now, what does AON or AOG do? We'll have a separate video on that as well because there are a lot of very, very interesting implications ni AON or ni AOG, so to speak. So kindly look out for our video regarding acts of nature or acts of God. So with that being said, let's summarize what we've learned for today. You've got four sections: CTPL, no fault indemnity, own damage and theft, and your excess third-party liability. So, once again, this is Miguel. Thank you so much for joining us today for a quick look at a comprehensive policy. Once again, if you like our content, kindly click subscribe and on the click on the bell notification icon as well so that you're notified whenever I come out with something new. However, I always want to add something new every day though, so expect something new from me on a daily basis, at least until I take off. Also, if there are particular topics that you would like for me to cover, any questions that you'd like for me to make a video about, please let me know in the comments. And finally, one more thing. Are you looking to buy insurance? Are you looking to sell insurance? Send me a message, send me an email. My email is in the description. Or you can also find me on Facebook. Link is in the description as well. Send me a PM. Usap po tayo, sagot po kayo ni Tito. So once again, this is Miguel. Thank you so much for your time today and please enjoy the rest of your day.